Hello gamers from around the world, this is Archimedes, the video game enthusiast from Germany, with my latest video. Friends, it's the time of the year again where we get game and gaming related announcements basically on a daily basis. The amount of games that have been announced that I want to play is insane. Let's see here. I'll be definitely playing this game and this one and this. Definitely not this one, but this, maybe this, and for sure this and this. You see where I'm going with that. And the announcement time is not over. By the time I'm recording this, the E3 substitute events from EA, Ubisoft, CD Projekt Red, etc. are yet to come. And of course the big Xbox first party game event in July and the rumored counter event from Sony in August. So lots to come, and as a gamer I couldn't be happier. Actually I could end the video here, but there is something I want to get out there. Besides some amazing games that are on the horizon, the next gen consoles are coming. And we already know quite a lot of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. We know their design, their hardware specs, and of course we know about some of the games coming to them. But what about the two important things, launch date and price? When will we get that sweet next gen tech in our hands? And how much will we have to pay for the next gen systems? But before we go into that, I do have a favor to ask. If you watch this video and end up enjoying yourself, then please consider hitting the like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to not miss out on future videos. I try to grow my channel and this little click from you helps me more than you think. But now let's see when we will get to play on the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 and what we have to pay for that experience. Okay, let me tell you that this video is not about when we will get the actual announcement for the launch date and price. I made a complete video on what I think is the reveal strategy from Sony and Microsoft up until launch of the new consoles. I'll link this one in the description below. Recently, with the PlayStation 5 reveal event, we also got some interviews with the PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan, and of course we also got some statements from the Xbox department. And combining those with previous statements, we might actually have a pretty good idea what the price will be. But I want to start with the launch date. Sony and Microsoft both have said coming holiday 2020. Everyone is assuming the new consoles will launch in November. And well, that's the obvious guess considering that it's the usual month for launching consoles. But does it make sense in the year 2020, and especially considering some of the features of the console? Let me elaborate what I mean by that. First, Nintendo has proven that you can definitely launch a console very successful in March. And I dare say for us gamers an earlier launch would actually be significantly better. And not because I'm impatient, but because, as you all know, most games will launch in September, October and maybe very early November. All of these games could also be played on the new consoles. Microsoft especially has already revealed their plans for forward and backward compatibility. By the way, if you are interested in the compatibility strategy of Sony and Microsoft, I recommend my video on it. It's linked in the description below. So at least on the Xbox, with every game that comes out, we have to ask ourselves, do we play it now at launch or do we wait? So why do console manufacturers keep that November launch date when it would make so much more sense to give us the new consoles earlier and let us play all the holiday games on the new machines? Well, the obvious reason is the install base. All third-party publishers want to sell their games to the biggest possible audience. Porting the games over to the new hardware costs money and time, and let's face it, the install base at launch is just too small to justify these costs. So, they released their games one last time for the current gen, and then they have the longest possible time till the next holiday season to increase the install base. That's how it has always been, but I can't shake the feeling that this is going to change. Since Microsoft is changing the way how they approach console generations on all levels, I think they might just do the same with the launch date and launch the console early in October. We know that the devs don't have to do anything to make their games back compat on the Series X, and the machine will take care of some enhancements like frame rate, added HDR, better texture quality and so on. So from that perspective, it does not really matter if the devs do not want to spend extra money to port games over to next gen. And that is why I think Microsoft will try to get the head start. Sony seems to play it more in the classic way, and that's why I think they will keep it to a more traditional November release. Maybe the recent Amazon leak with the November 20th as a release date turns out to be true. But launching the console first could be a very important factor. It's something I call the avalanche effect. Once you get that snowball rolling and people start talking about the next-gen consoles that they have already in their home, for instance on social media, others want to join in and the snowball, aka the installed base, gets bigger and bigger, and I think Microsoft will want to get that head start, launching maybe 6 weeks or so earlier than the PlayStation and leveraging the compatibility of the Xbox in that regard. But besides being first to the market, another important factor is of course price. And wait, didn't I do a video on what I think the new consoles will cost already? Yeah, I did. And it's still very interesting to watch, but we have new information, so I want to summarize the older video and add the new information. And the new information is mainly coming from Sony. Jim Ryan, CEO of PlayStation, said in recent interviews that Sony is focusing, and I quote, on value as opposed to price, and that they try to ensure that they focus on getting the value equation right. I don't know about you, but to me that does not sound like they dropped that $399 price point that everyone is hoping for. It rather sounds like Sony is preparing us for a higher price tag, emphasizing again the value proposition of the PlayStation 5 with the super duper fast SSD, their own sound engine, and of course some first party games locked behind the purchase of a PS5. In addition to that statement, Sony unveiled a second SKU at the PlayStation reveal event, the PS5 all-digital version, a PS5 without a disc drive. Now, this just tells me that they are looking for a possibility to bring the price down, so that they can market the PS5 with price labels like starting at XYZ. Now, what happened on the Microsoft side? Well, Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, already spoke out a few months ago that they have the financial backing of the mother company and that they know about the importance of price and the special worldwide situation right now, and that they are flexible in pricing. In a recent interview with BBC, Phil was asked about back compat and Game Pass, and he said again, price is going to be important, but our strategy is centered around the player, not the device. If this is not the year when a family wants to make a decision to buy a new Xbox, that's okay. Our strategy does not revolve around how many Xbox I sell this year. So let me tell you something, Xbox has the strategy in place where they are not actually focusing on selling many new Xbox Series X consoles right out of the gate. Forward compatibility lets gamers play all new games coming from Microsoft on their old consoles. They also have that rumored second SKU, the Xbox Lockhart, a cheaper and less powerful version of the next Xbox, just like the Xbox One S is today compared to the Xbox One X. And they know that the cheaper unit will simply sell more often. So they are not making the money on the Series X, but on the cheaper, hopefully soon to be revealed Lockhart. And in addition to that, they already have a very successful game subscription service in place. More than 10 million gamers pay Microsoft a monthly fee of $10 to play games, so they have a very steady stream of income. I go even further. They also know one thing about the semiconductor business, and I know that as well, cause I used to work in the semiconductor industry. Semiconductors get cheaper over time, more or less regardless on how many units you produce. That's just because the yield of the process to manufacture semiconductors improves significantly over time. And that's, by the way, the main reason why consoles typically get cheaper 1 or 2 years after launch. Now, if Microsoft's strategy does not necessarily focus on selling as many Series X consoles as possible in the first year or two, they can more easily take a loss in the console price. And that brings me to my conclusion. With Sony being very public about moving over people more quickly to the PS5 than ever before and not focusing on price but value, my bet stands. The PS5 will come in at $499 and the all-digital version will be sold at $449. With Microsoft going down a different strategy in how they approach the new console generation and having simply more money in the background of the mother company, I say the Xbox Series X will surprise us with a $399 price tag and the rumored Lockhart will come in at $299. I know, Sony does seem to play a different strategy than Microsoft, and I still think they will be very successful next generation, even with a higher price tag. But the gap in between Sony and Microsoft will be significantly smaller, and that's what we all should hope for, cause that drives competition and moves the gaming industry forward. But enough from me, what do you think? When will the next gen consoles launch? What do you think will be the price tag of the Series X and the PS5? Let me know in the comments of this video below or hit me up on Twitter. I always love to discuss gaming with the community and I share a lot of opinions on my channels. So if you want to talk gaming, just hit me up either here on YouTube or on Twitter. And please do me a favor, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button as well as the notification bell, and consider sharing this out to other gamers. I would greatly appreciate it. But for now, thank you very much for watching, I see you the next time, and game on!